So the program was initiated in 2003. Going forward, the kind of targeting system or identification system that was being used is what is known as the community-based targeting, whereby power was given to the community members to identify who amongst themselves they felt were very poor, were incapacitated, and therefore deserved this support from the social cash transfer. So the scheme evolved. There was some tweaking to the identification process. For instance, when the scheme moved to Katete, there the targeting was based on identifying people who were over 60 years and above, regardless of their socio-economic status. When the scheme moved to districts like Kalabo, Shangombo, Kaputa, there it was a child grant scheme, and the main criteria that was used in identifying the people was to say a household must have children who are below 5 years. Challenge number one was that the quota system that was being used, whereby when you go in a community, you say the bottom 10% are the ones that should qualify, was creating a problem, because how do you make a distinction between somebody who falls in the 11% category and somebody who is on the 10% category? Would find that the distinction is blurred, and moreover, poverty is not static. So some people today will be poor, tomorrow they are okay. Somebody has a head of household today, next week the head of household is no longer there, so they kind of go down. Then the other problem with the community-based targeting, as we continued to expand the program into other districts, we saw a situation whereby some of the community members were not free enough to be able to contribute when it came to selection of these beneficiaries. Others thought they were being intimidated if at all they said, no, this person does not deserve to be on the social cash transfer. So that created a problem. Then the third challenge was to say, how do you compare somebody who has been picked in one district and somebody who has not been picked in another district? Because the 10% who are poor in one district, if you go into another district to find those 10% would be regarded as not qualifying. So this 10% quota was creating intra and inter-district challenges. The ministry decided to move basically from the CBT, but in a phased manner, and employed a new technique known as prox-means testing. Basically, this is a tool whereby you look at certain key indicators that tend to be correlate with the socio-economic circumstances of a household. So what happens is that an enumerator goes to a household, collects this information on welfare, their education, other social indicators, shelter. You get that information, you score it, you weigh it, then you put it in a spreadsheet and you do some calculations, and then you come up with a cutoff point. So it tended to ease that problem of one, the issue of the quota. It was sorted out by the prox-means testing. And secondly, you are able to define who you think under this system, these are the poor people, without going into those issues of social capital and intra-household or intra-community conflicts. When we are conceptualizing the identification process, it's very important that you involve especially the beneficiaries, because the way you are going to interpret the data has an ultimate way in terms of the beneficiaries or non-beneficiaries being picked or not being picked on the program. For instance, you might say in this program we want to identify households with orphans, but when you go in the communities, you discover to say the word orphan is interpreted differently. For the people or the technocrats, they will say an orphan somebody who has lost either one or both the parents. But in some communities, they will tell you if one of the parents has been missing for a long time, even if he's alive, that child is considered as an orphan. So it's very important that the community members are involved when you are developing the targeting system, so that you have the same interpretation as technocrats and also as community members. Yeah.